Now, weeks in a row on these Thursdays, many people coming out to the streets, but there are so many issues to discuss and debate right now. And to give us a preview of that now, before we head out to break, I want to introduce Josh Hasten, the international spokesperson for the Gush Etzion, joining us, the settlement block south of Jerusalem. Josh, thanks for being with us. Yariv Oppenheimer also joining us, the board member of Peace, former member of, director of Peace Now, and a board member of Maris. Thanks for being with us here. I know you're very busy commentators dealing with this here. Look, first of all, on President Herzog's touted compromise. I mean, he came out, addressing the nation, and then everything fell flat on him very quickly here. Where were the shortcomings in Herzog's efforts so far? Yariv. I don't know if you can hear me, Yariv, or you're even maybe stuck here with a bit of a technical issue. Josh, if you hear me there, hey, where did Herzog fall flat here? I mean, I know he's been consulting with a lot of people, a lot of experts, trying to get something plausible on the table. Didn't take long for the coalition to say no way. Where did Herzog fail here?
From what I'm understanding, I think the main point here is that Herzog's plan, under the plan, the judges still can select their colleagues. And that's really, what kind of reform is that if the judges can still pick? It's like an old boys network where those with similar political positions are able to select each other instead of abiding by the will of the people, which we saw from the previous election, which clearly gave a mandate to the right-wing parties in this country. So I think that's one of the main points from what I'm understanding in terms of the opposition to Herzog's plan. I think that we saw the Kohelet Policy Forum release a compromise plan. I think that's probably the way to go in order to decrease the tensions amongst both sides. But as you saw, Herzog's plan unacceptable by the coalition. And by
Josh, I want to jump in here just before the break. You'll read about 1 minute here. Just first sentiments on Herzog's plan. Where did he come up short? What did he do wrong in this scenario?
He didn't do anything wrong. He exposed the real face of this coalition. It's a zero-sum game. They are not ready for any compromise. The only thing that they are aiming for is to have full control over the Supreme Court, actually to be also the judges almost by themselves. And for that argument, Herzog didn't agree, and I'm happy about it, because if he would accept this demand to appoint that politician will appoint judges, so the outcome will be that we don't have a real independent Supreme Court in Israel. So I think that he did the right thing. I think that he eventually did the right thing, and he exposed the real face of this coalition, that this coalition is not ready to any compromise. They are not ready to accept any real some kind of a middle way.
Josh, stay with us. I got to cut in. Live TV demands it. We got a break right now. 2 minutes. We'll be back with both of you to debate much more in depth everything happening today. Stay with us. Thanks.
The Middle East is changing. Old alliances make way for new partnerships.
Bigger threats lead to new relationships, and shared goals mean new opportunities.
We speak to those who know the inside story and are at the heart of the changes.
Don't get caught up with the same old story.
Find out what's happening in Middle East Now.
Middle East Now on i24NEWS.
We're on the inside of political and religious passions in Jerusalem, breaking down the financial trends shaping the global economy, giving you key context, not just headlines, with the stories from Israel that touch the U.S. and those across the region with impact far beyond its borders. Sunday to Thursday on i24NEWS. Catch the rundown, where the Middle East meets the world.
It's a living, breathing organism that pulsates through millennia. Touch it, listen to it, smell it, taste it. Experience the Holy Land like never before. Holy Land Uncovered, every Sunday, only on i24NEWS.
One show, a whole lot of perspectives.
He is part of the problem.
You want to talk about deplatforming?
People are losing their lives.
Not just what happened, but why does it matter?
I'd like to finish my point.
You're the one stretching terms here.
Join us every night, 8 p.m. Eastern on Global Eye. The global conversation starts here.
Now, to bring us right back to the topic where we left off before the break here, again, a major day of protest taking place around the country here. And in the backdrop, of course, is the current government's push for judicial overhaul. So in focus and so under debate across the country. And that's where we are again right now, still joined by Josh Hasten, the international spokesperson for the Gush Etzion settlement bloc there south of Jerusalem, and Yariv Oppenheimer, former director of peace, now publicist, commentator. So, look, we were talking about President Herzog's, highly touted initiative last night, speaking to the nation, and then it all falling flat so quickly. Look, there's another element I want to bring up about Herzog here, warning of quote-unquote civil war, in a really serious way. Look, if Herzog can't bring the sides together, who can at this point? Josh, what does that look like to you? Where should this go from here in terms of lowering the flames?
Well, listen, first of all, talk of civil war, it's extremely disturbing to even hear that. You can go back to Menachem Begin, who prevented the civil war back in the 40s, even after the Altalena catastrophe. I pray to God we're not headed down that path. And it's unbelievable to me that this issue has, even drawn up calls for civil war. You're talking about an elected government here in the state of Israel, which discussed policy of judicial reform even before the election. And you even had other parties previously discuss the need for some sort of judicial reform. So really the flames need to really decrease on all sides. But that being said, I think that the people out there protesting and have gone above and beyond what is acceptable in a democracy. I'm talking about blocking highways, blocking MKs from being able to leave their homes to go vote in the Knesset. I mean, how is that democracy? Certainly things have to calm down. Everyone has to calm down a little bit, take a step back. And again, as I mentioned before, I just went over the Kohelet compromise, and I think really that should be the starting point as we move forward in the negotiation process.
Yariv, did President Herzog go too far talking about civil war? Is he basically fanning the flames, going that far with his rhetoric?
No, I think that he was very honest, and he spoke about the reality in the society of Israel. We have here a government that is ready to do things that never has been done before, to change the rules of the game and actually to cancel the democratic system in the state of Israel. It's not a matter, not even about peace and war. It's not a matter of policy. It's not a matter of settlements, yes or no, or evacuation of settlements, or giving money to some sectors. No, it's much bigger than that. It's huge. It's a coup against democracy. It's not about policy. Therefore, we see the protest in the street. The ball now is in the hands of the Likud members. And I deeply hope that there will be 4 or 5 members of the Likud that will show a national responsibility and will say to this coalition, with this kind of bills, we are not going to vote in favor. Postpone the legislation after Passover time, and let's stop the legislation and discuss even between ourselves whether this what is really what we want to do. I heard today David Bitan, member of Knesset. I am encouraged about the things that he is saying, and I hope that there will be another 4 or 5 members of Knesset from the Likud party that will show national responsibility and will stop us from getting to the catastrophic situation in which the government is canceling democracy and the Supreme Court will cancel the decision of the parliament.
Look, I agree that on some points that the country so badly divided right now between us and them. Too much of, quote unquote, you people going on in this debate here right now. But it's coming from both sides as I hear it right now. I believe it's imperative for the flames to be lowered, for the divisions, the sense of division to be lowered at any cost, perhaps. But Josh, are you seeing signs of that from either side of this right now? That there are, you mentioned the Kohelet proposal. I want to get your thoughts as well, Yariv and Josh, on Kohelet. Is this something plausible right now? Is this going to be taken up, what Kohelet's pushing forward?
Well, first thing, I would have to disagree with Yariv. I do not believe the reforms are in any way endangering democracy. I think that is, even to make such a statement is going way, way too far. I guarantee you that 95% of the people, unfortunately, who are protesting, who are claiming they're protesting on behalf of judicial reform, don't even understand what's written in the bill, what the amendments actually say. I think this is an excuse, unfortunately, again, to go after the democratically elected government of the state of Israel, people who oppose the Netanyahu government for whatever reason, and judicial reform is the cover. I definitely agree with you that the tensions need to be decreased on all sides. But that being said, I don't think we should move on to a path that ignores this need to reform the courts. I think that's absolutely necessary. And if a compromise comes into being, Kohelet, I think, is the ultimate address. I think, they're the ones who came up with the initial plan. They're the ones who understand the plan. And if people are actually listening, they should understand what the plans actually say before just taking to the streets and, destroying people's lives and members of Knesset especially, and blocking their homes and whatnot.
Yuri, I sense some disagreement from you here. If you want to respond.
I think it's going to be an historical mistake to lower the flame. We should raise up the flame because the legislation is much more dangerous than any demonstration, especially the non-violent demonstration. Wow. This legislation will create a situation in which no one will be able to stop and to limit the power of the government. I think that even the people in the right wing doesn't want it. And this is what we are facing.
Raising the flame, is that a call for violence? Raising the flames?
Let me finish, please. If we will lower the flame now, we will find ourselves in a situation in which it will be illegal to demonstrate because the police will be running by the politicians like they are trying to do right now. Who is stopping Ben Gvir to use the police in order to silence only the people that he disagree with? Who is doing it? The legal system. They want to cancel the legal system. So the police will be also political. And this is only one example. This is a real danger for the freedom of the people. And please be respectful to these people. They know exactly what they are standing for. They know exactly why they are protesting so many days in the middle of the week, losing money, taking personal risk. They are doing it because they can see the danger. And the danger is the Kohelet proposal, is the Levin and Rothman legislation. This is the danger, to take over the Supreme Court. And this is a case that if the Israeli public will have to fight over, we are fighting over it. Non-violence, no one got hurt, not even damaging property. But yes, this is a struggle that should be stopped only by stopping the legislation. No other compromise that will allow the government to take over the Supreme Court.
Josh, any direct response about the minute we've left? Also, go ahead. Go ahead, Josh.
No, that's completely blown out of proportion. And ironic how I'm supposed to be, the right winger coming on this program, and here someone who apparently who claims to respect democracy and respect the choice of the people is calling for a struggle. And you mentioned nonviolence, but on and on, we see these protests are getting more and more violent as time goes on.
Not violent.
So I don't believe in any way, shape, or form. Wait, let me finish my sentence. I don't believe in any way, shape, or form that we're talking about the destruction of the court of Israel. It's completely blown out of proportion. And you can go read the judicial reform for yourselves and see what it actually means.
That this is a danger for democracy, what you're proposing.
No, this has nothing to do with anti-democracy. That is a myth. I encourage everyone out there to go read what the judicial proposal is all about. It's something that should have been done years and years ago. And if there is a compromise, the Kohelet forum, they're the ones who are offering a legitimate and respectable compromise. Unfortunately, as much as I respect the president of the state of Israel, I don't think his compromise is the way to go. I don't think that's where we should be headed. We should be looking at places like Kohelet, the ones who actually understand the law. These are brilliant people who are running a think tank, by the way, which was actually blocked. Talking about nonviolence. They blocked the Kohelet forum with barbed wire and didn't let people go to work. How is that democratic? That is above and beyond the pale of what is acceptable in a democracy, to block somebody's office, to put barbed wire, and to put mortar outside their offices and raid their offices. That is not democracy. That is not liberalism. That is not the left wing in Israel. So that's unfortunate that we're talking about increasing the struggle when I'm talking about decreasing the tensions.
Democracy. You are living in a place that is not democratic at all. In Gush Etzion there is no democracy. The Palestinians have no rights. Okay. So you are the last one that
Josh Hasten, Yuri Oppenheimer.
And to show
on to this one. Both sides of this debate claiming they're saving democracy. It's a tough one to decipher here. We appreciate you both joining us on the program today. So thank you, Yuri Oppenheimer, Josh Hasten. Good luck out there. Now we do move